This is Art Television.
Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by
IWS Aviation.
Hello there, you're watching our television. This is State of Business. I am Pamudla Katugampala. Let's have a look at the headlines. CCPI-based headline inflation declines. HEMA celebrates 20 years of PIAVRA. Welcome back here with State of Business. Now let's have a detailed look at today's stories. Now, headline inflation as measured by the year-on-year change in the Colombo Consumer Price Index decreased to 54.2% in January 2023. This is as reported by the Communications Department of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. The decline in the headline inflation is broadly in line with the disinflation path envisaged by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka for the month. Year-on-year in January 2023, the food inflation decreased to 60.1% in January 2023, while the non-food inflation decreased to 51.0%. The monthly change of CCPI was recorded as 0.43%, mainly due to price increases observed in items of food and non-food categories, which were 0.23% and 0.20% respectively. Meanwhile, annual average inflation rose to 49.6%. The core inflation, which reflects the underlying inflation in the economy, decreased to 45.6%, while annual average core inflation increased to 37.6%. Looking ahead, based on the latest macroeconomic projections by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, the declining trend of inflation is expected to continue through 2023. This is expected to be supported by subdued demand conditions owing to tight monetary and fiscal policy measures and anticipated improvements in domestic supply conditions. It will also be supported by the expected path-through of easing global energy and food prices to domestic prices, along with the favorable statistical base effect. However, there are upside risks to this disinflation path arising from possible upward adjustments in domestic energy prices. This includes any associated second-round effects, delays in passing downward adjustments of global energy and food prices to domestic consumers. Nevertheless, factors such as the reduced purchasing power of the public could soften inflationary pressures, exerting downside risks to inflation projections. Meanwhile, Minister of Industries Dr. Ramesh Pathanara yesterday highlighted that promotion of industry and technology are vital to economic development. The minister did so while inaugurating several testing and research facilities at the Industrial Technology Institute. These facilities include the newly established Science and Technology Business Centre, Petroleum and Lubricant Testing Laboratory, and Pharmaceutical Testing Laboratory. The Industrial Technology Institute operates under the Ministry of Industry. The minister also mentioned that government investment in the industrial sector during the 75 years since independence has been very low, and that this in turn has affected economic development. The minister expressed his thanks to the Industrial Technology Institute for its contribution in introducing innovative industries and maintaining the technical standards of industrial products. Established in 1955, the Industrial Technology Institute is a multidisciplinary national organization recognized locally as well as internationally, and has been operating as a market-leading partner for its client and stakeholders. Over the past few years, the Industrial Technology Institute has provided services to companies engaged in business for domestic and export markets, national infrastructure development projects, and foreign industries. The Institute also engages in research and development work. They're involved in the fields of environmental technology, food technology, herbal technology, materials technology, and engineering services. The recently opened departments and laboratories also join the standardized industrial development pertaining to the country's products. A group of dignitaries from many other public and private institutions, including the state-driven voluntary peer review process. It provides the opportunity for each state to declare the steps taken at the national level to improve the human rights situation in that state and to fulfill their human rights obligations. The fourth cycle of the UPR commenced in November 2022, and Sri Lanka's fourth UPR held today during the 42nd session of the UPR Working Group. Sri Lanka's national report under the fourth cycle of the UPR was submitted on the 22nd of December 2022 and provides a self-assessment on the steps taken since the last UPR in November 2017 to fulfill our voluntarily undertaken human rights obligations. The process of preparation of the national report was undertaken under the guidance of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Broad consultations were held with stakeholders from government and non-governmental organizations as well as the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka. Due to the 75th anniversary of independence celebrations falling during the same period, Sri Lanka's delegation to the review was led by Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri by means of a pre-recorded video statement. The in-person delegation was led by Sri Lanka's permanent representative to the United Nations in Geneva, Himali Arunathilaka, and comprised senior officials from the Presidential Secretariat, the Attorney General's Department, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Permanent Mission of Sri Lanka to the UN in Geneva. See you soon with more stories after this short commercial break. Welcome back here with State of Business. Now, the Hemas Outreach Foundation yesterday launched a coffee table book in celebration of 20 years of its flagship project, Pievara. The project is a national initiative focusing on early childhood care and development. The national initiative focuses on nurturing young children with good care in order to provide a solid foundation for a lifelong journey. The coffee table book, which charts the Pievara journey from its inception, demonstrates the strength of a truly successful government and private sector partnership that has addressed a national issue. The Pievara story began in 2002 when the Hemas Group launched the initiative in partnership with the Children's Secretariat of the Ministry of Women and Child Affairs with the aim of nurturing underprivileged children and providing them a solid foundation in life. Pievara to date has constructed 62 preschools across the country, which have been handed over to the local government authorities, which handle general maintenance of the schools. The national initiative also conducts annual residential teacher training programs in partnership with the Ministry of Women and Child Affairs to ensure that high-quality early learning is provided at these schools. In addition, annual parental awareness programs are conducted at the Pievara preschools to educate parents on the importance of early childhood care and development. Pievara embodies the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 4, which aims to provide inclusive and equitable quality education for all. This is considered fundamental to creating a peaceful and prosperous world. As Pievara continues its core mission of enriching the lives of underprivileged children through creating child-friendly preschools across the country, it stands today as a valuable initiative with deep community roots. Executive Director for the Hemas Outreach Foundation, Shiromi Masakorala, detailed the importance of investing in early childhood care and development. The Executive Director did so while speaking during the celebration to mark 20 years of the Pievara initiative.
Inadequate stimulation and limited early learning opportunities for children leads to the risk of poor cognitive development. We find 41% of our children failing mathematics in O-levels. Why? Because the conceptualizing didn't take place when they were children. Sad. That's the time the cognition, the physical development, emotional, social, and the language and speech takes place. This is a very important area. But when I meet the local councils, the members of local councils, what they say is, "Ane soe Montessori lamaine." That's the kind of attitude we have in this country. It is the sad situation. So it is considered one of the best investments in human capital development. That is why we as HEMAS chose this area of work, because it's our citizens, it's our future, it's our children. We are a Sri Lankan company and we have a responsibility towards our children. And Sri Lanka's public spending on early childhood education is the lowest amongst middle and high income countries. Sri Lanka's investment in EC is less than 0.0001% of the GDP. In the developed countries, now the middle income and high income countries, they spend 0.6% or more GDP on. This is our World Bank statistics, the Asian region in 2014. So all this is also linked to the UN SDG goal number 4.2, where we say girls and boys have access to quality early childhood care and development. So as HEMAS, we are doing our part as a private sector, but we have a responsibility because we are a Sri Lankan company. So this is why we invest in ECCD. So we have 3 projects. One is the preschool project, which has a mission to nurture young children with good care in order to provide a solid foundation for a lifelong journey. And we have our IATI, the National Center for Children with Disabilities. The vision is to enable children with disabilities to reach their unique potential. And also, we believe in creating a social movement. We have created a social movement to empower children and families with Down syndrome to live a dignified life.
Meanwhile, Group CEO of HEMAS Holdings, Kasturi Chelraja Wilson, when discussing the 20-year period journey, commented on the importance of its partnership with the government.
The intention was to impact the children of Sri Lanka, stemming into, I guess, as Sri Lankans, even when you have a family, the family aspires for a better tomorrow for kids. We are in products and services. We were not into handling education. But once Shiro and Hussein and them thought about it, remember, when you touch a child and the ecosystem, we need people who understand it. And it has to be sustainable. And the second part of it is it has to integrate into the school system. And it also has to touch about the sensitive topics we talk about, which is child protection and women protection. So that partnership is, we had the intention, we were willing to put money, but we didn't know how this ecosystem worked and how can professionals who know that subject help, and that's the ministry. And that partnership has gone for years, and the beauty of it is the students who started, I think, in the first few schools, we have stories of lawyers out there, stories of doctors out there, and that's because they went through the ministry, helped them to integrate into schools. So, and I don't believe private sector can do anything alone. But if you have partnerships which are of quality with the right intention to help, here it was a little kid, and it was the parents who wanted the kids to do better. If that is the intention, and as you rightly said, Hussein and family never put the brand of HEMAS in, because it was not about the brand, it was about the people of Sri Lanka. And today, that's why the partnership, and I think whatever we do will have to be with the partnership of the institution or the ministry which runs it.
Stay tuned for the stock update. Welcome back, you're watching State of Business. Now the stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on positive notes today. The All-Share Price Index gained 84.96 points to close at 8,950.01, and the S&P SL 20 gained 35.02 points to close at 2,799.53. The turnover was 1.5 billion rupees and over 60 million shares were traded. Up next are Forex rates. And that's a wrap from today's edition of State of Business. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.